Alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We got REYNOR in the top left of this grand finals, representing Basilisk, looking unstoppable this tournament. But he is up against Kua, the man that eliminated the best Protoss in the world. Now, Classic, I really feel like Classic looked so strong till he played Kua. I mean, Kua eliminated everyone. Kua destroyed some top-tier opponents to get here. He's also looked beast mode. Other than that Maru comeback versus him, he's looked fantastic, and he's going to be opening up with a double Barracks Reaper pressure. REYNOR does go for a quick third hat-trick. I don't know about that. Ooh, that's a freebie, my man. He scouted for it, and I think this is a really good call. He's just going to cancel that third. And as REYNOR, you can't defend that. So what you want to do here is basically either get ready to take the other third, or more importantly, just drone. He does have a creep tumor between his bases, which is cute. The Reapers are going to ignore the hatchery for now. So it looks like he's just making sure there's no gas mining. So Kua knows he's not being all in. This is actually something where you should probably take the gas on the back in general in ZvT to try and hide it. Because these Reaper openings are so common, you want to make it hard for them to scout if you're mining gas or not. Because if they don't know if you're mining gas or not, you could be baneling busting, and that's very scary for a Terran in this scenario. Alright, let's do it. Alright guys, we've got two barracks, we've got a factory there, we've got a third command center, starport going down as well. And it's going to be... It looks like a 2-on-1, but we saw Kua previously in his series, as a best of 7, by the way, let me update that scoreboard, actually go for Hellion Liberator pressure and then go for the double drop after that. So I think he might be doing that same build again. REYNOR should have studied it and been aware of this build order. He should know that this is a big option. And I believe this is Kua's map pick, simply because REYNOR... in a best of 7, I mean, I would expect Ancient Cistern. I would expect... What are the other good Zerg maps? I mean, he likes Babylon, I know, but I think Ancient Cistern would probably be his second choice. Maybe Babylon map too. I know REYNOR loves Babylon for some reason. Oh, Altitude as well. Of course, Altitude is a gigantic map, which Terran can't... You don't get any vetoes in a best of 7, remember, guys. So, you have to play all 7 maps if it goes the distance. And, it's all just about picking the best maps you possibly can as early as possible, usually. No one really saves them up till later. Lings have poked the ramp a little bit. No Marines building right now, which is pretty common, I've seen with a lot of Kua's follow-ups. Overlord sneaks down the right. He's already seen the third command center. He's trying to sacrifice in for more info. He's not going to get it. Very good shutdown on the information there by Kua. Remember, Kua did this sort of opening into mech as well against Solar in one of his games. So it's definitely something you got to keep your eyes on as REYNOR. Liberator sneaking down the bottom left. REYNOR's looking for it. Oh, he's so well prepared. He knew this was an option. He spots it, and a Spore Crawler is already building in that main base. Beautiful handling so far by REYNOR. His Lings aren't at home, though. He's got to be careful as those Lings keep going for the backstabs. Marines are gathering up there. Third command center is going to try and float down. He's denying that from being taken. There's nothing to stop those Hellions darting into the natural. I actually think REYNOR's being a little greedy right now with only a few Lings at home. At this level, though, usually the Zergs are so safe that the Terrans don't like to dive Hellion Reaper in. It's very risky to do, and as a result, they don't like taking that risk very often. Marine tries to bait these Zerglings in. Saves the Marine there. Redrops, cleans up those Zerglings. Nicely done. Double drop's going to come in behind. Liberator has said, well, I've been spotted. There's a Spore, there's a Queen. I'm just going to chill and attack an Overlord for now. It'll take a long time, but at least I'm getting a little bit of value and denying information. Ling's getting ready for a backstab on the third base. Do not drop mules on that third. Kua, don't drop mules! Oh, gosh! He's got to be so annoyed at that. But actually, good micro. He stacks in the corner. Doesn't matter. REYNOR sends back 2 Zerglings to finish off the mule. So technical from REYNOR. Says, I don't want to lose all these Zerglings, but I want to make sure I take out that mule. 225 minerals of mining denied over the next minute of this game. It's going to hurt Kua. Oh, never mind. Doesn't matter. Kua says, I'm going to hurt you twice as bad, idiot. Your banelings aren't ready. And he's actually trying to not just get the hatchery, he's also trying to win the ground fight as well. Oh, he focuses all the banelings down. REYNOR's in trouble. REYNOR is in trouble right now. He's up on 69 workers, which is very impressive, but he is losing this 4th base, his whole army, and a pack of drones. The Hellion Reaper was distracting on the left, which is why the Queens were all down there. He needed those Queens up here to help defend this double drop. REYNOR needs to split those Queens up. He's put them all back on one control group because he thought the early game was over. The early game is never over, not when you're up against Kua. Look at this. The Liberator's repositioning. The double drop going to the natural at the same time. The Hellion Reaper's running down the left as well. Kua is a master of multi-prong, and REYNOR grouping his queens up was a big mistake. This is exactly what Kua did to Solar as well, where when Solar started grouping his queens up, Kua was everywhere at once. Look at that nice Hellion micro. They will get surrounded, but not before getting a few decent volleys off, clearing up a few of those Zerglings on the way out. Kua is going up to 5 barracks behind. I say 5 barracks. No, that's up to 8 barracks, guys. He's looking to do a big 3-base push and just carry the momentum forward. He knows he's winning this game so far. He's denied Reynor's 4th. He's killed a ton of army. The units lost tab disgustingly in his favor. And he's going to get some tanks and depots at home. Start to march forward on both sides of the map at once. Not enough Marines to really contest those queens. Loses a medevac there and has to back off. Bane gathering up. Only 1 medevac on this left. You don't want to go in just yet. Oh, I like the far back siege position. A tank there would be amazing as well. And Marine's going to march on down that left. Where is he putting this tank? Oh. In the grass? Really? Interesting. Marine's in the top right, waiting for those queens to move out of position. But the queens have not left just yet. Oh, queen in the open. He could stim and focus it. See if he takes that juicy pick off. Reynor does not see the Marines. The Marines do see the queen. Marines on the left side going to come in right now. Banelings coming forwards, but nice pickup. Oh, the tanks are exposed though. Good cleanup for Reynor. He's going to get rid of those siege tanks. More Marines coming forward right now. He dives on the right side. The Queen's 1 transfuse goes down, but Reynor can't stare at this. He's got to look elsewhere right now. The Queen's unable to transfuse when Reynor's not looking at them. Another Queen goes down there. The Marine drop in the main as well does start to find an opening. He's still got a Marine drop there on all 3 sides, but Reynor catches him not looking. Gets the Marine drop on the right. The ones in the back, though, still causing a ruckus. Baneling speed's done. The focus fire is good. Another good Baneling connection. 8 Marines survive, but the other medevac does go down. Or at least all the Marines inside. This medevac down here goes down as well. A lot of decent little skirmishes for Reynor here. As we look back at that production tab, 2-2 upgrades are about 30 seconds ahead for Terran. 4th command center is starting, but for now, it's all momentum. There are no add-ons on these extra barracks. It is all just, I will make more Marines and I will overwhelm you. Kua knows he's got the advantage. He doesn't want to let Reynor back into this game. A lot of people were expecting Kua to go for a bit more of a turtle game to try and take advantage of his late game prowess against Reynor's famous hatred of turtle games. But here on Dragon Scales, Kua says momentum is what it's all about. People say he's the fastest kid. Who cares? You don't need speed. Precision beats speed every single day of the week, and he is absolutely smashing. Denying that hatchery on the left, putting Reynor back to 4 bases. Reynor's forced to take the middle hatchery, but there's already Marines and tanks encroaching on that territory, fighting in so many areas of the map at once. I love this play by Kua. Remember, he's still got a full Marine medevac in the back of the main. That goes for the natural. These guys go for the main. He's still got an army coming forwards. They're going to deny that 5th base. Reynor's done an amazing job of spreading creep down the middle of the map in the midst of this. He's got a bit of a two-pronged phalange there. Here we go. Marines in the main, focusing down the Banelings. Kua, what? He's dropping in the back of the natural, and he's focusing Banelings in the main. Again, he focuses 3 more Banelings. Okay, the Marines do go down behind the 3rd as the Queen focuses down the medevac, but these are some fancy maneuvers from Kua. This is Beyond-esque. This is like really top-tier Terran vs. Zerg stuff you expect from Clem and Beyond. Anyways, Marines in the top right. Oh, watch out! I mean, I complimented him too. I'm sorry, Terran fans. I complimented Kua and, of course, cursed him at the same time. He immediately loses some Marines while not looking to Banelings. The creep spread is actually so impressive considering how hard Reynor is getting throttled in this game. He's just getting smacked in the face repeatedly by Terran, and yet his creep tomb is keep re-spreading everywhere. That is a testament to Reynor's speed because he's in a terrible position right now, but he is being very difficult to deal with. I'm sure people are angry about me not showing the production tab so much. I apologize for that, guys. I'll try to showcase the actual production tab a little bit more. 2-2's finished for both sides, so it's dead even on the upgrades. Liberators there. Tank is very far back in that scenario. The Marine's still looking to deny this base. Ooh. Did Reynor get burrow? He did. Looks like he had to scan just to land his 4th base. Reynor's being very annoying right now. But Kua is rock solid on the defense. These backstabs ain't getting in at all. Marines are going to deny this base. It's only a matter of time, man. Ling Bane, every time he gets baited into the tank Liberator fire, just picks up, drops on the high ground. Oh, Queens are got to be careful. They're taking tank fire. They shoot down a medevac. Another medevac and another. 3 medevacs go down. The Spore Crawler and the Queen's shutting it down. That may have been an overextension. Reynor's going to look to capitalize, but there's more Marines, Liberators, and tanks on the low ground, and he does chase a little bit too far. You got to watch out, guys. Sergeant Chadhammer is being recruited. She's over there behind the rocks, raining down death. This tank also just stopped a Baneling flank on that right side as well. This is a big issue right now for Reynor. He's going to lose this base again. And that means what's he got? This base and the middle base. So he's still technically on 4 bases, but the middle base is so exposed. And the Marines cleaning up Overlords, cleaning up creep, really limiting Reynor's territory. In the top right, Reynor does jump on top. He's trying to secure that far top right base right now. Adrenal glands, +3 carapace, and an Ultra Cavern on the way. I think Infestors might be necessary, but he doesn't really have any gas to spare. Reynor is fighting for his life, and Kua is making a 5th command center. Kua still doesn't have add-ons on these barracks. He's still playing full momentum style. If Ultras hit the field, he may need Marauders. Few Marines do get surrounded there. Kua's going to pick up and drop that main base. He's got a tank, a couple of Liberators, and those Marines. How do you deal with this? It's so annoying. He's still got Chadhammer on the low ground covering, and a tank there, and the Liberators. It's just a field of terrible situations to deal with. Lingbane is there, saves the Adrenal upgrade. Few Marines fail to get picked up and do get blasted. Another big backstab, but he's always ready. Q is realizing that when you have a Zerg in mortal peril like this, they're going to buck, they're going to kick, they're going to do anything they can to try and get a breath of fresh air as you choke them out. And he's expecting it, so he's ready for it. He's ready for these desperate giant backstabs. He's always prepared. He's kind of applying pressure and expecting the counter attempt from Reynor. Every counter attack has been stopped in its tracks, except for the few Zerglings that killed the mule at the start of this game. Other than that, it's been going very well for Kua. His 3-3 is almost done, well ahead on those upgrades. Remember, he's got a tank there, but Blinding Cloud comes in. Nice move. Reynor drops a Blinding Cloud. He's going to go forwards there. Viper has to be careful. You don't want to chase too far, but he does chase Kua, back from this scenario. Liberator Siege is the top right, just clearing up lava as they pop. Imagine being born into this world and immediately shot by a goddamn Concorde cannon. It's not a good way to live or die. There we go. Tank goes down. Oh, Chadhammer! They're attacking Chadhammer. She goes down with 31 kills. Marines on the high ground do get hit by Banelings. Reynor gets a few successes, but at the cost of what? He loses the middle base, 7 drones, and the Liberator in the top right gets out of there at the same time. This is a big problem. Reynor just cannot get enough economy up. Q is creating so many problems around the map, and Reynor doesn't have the resources to deal with all of them. Double parasitic bomb! Slaps a full medevac. 3 more medevacs get heavily damaged. That one in the top right, is it gonna die? And it barely survives on 3 hit points. Nice parasitic bombs for Reynor. He's fighting back. Ling's coming in. He doesn't have +3 carapace though. He does have kindness plating, but he can't attack in. Always, somehow, next level preparedness for every single run by. And Reynor's going to have to pull back and try and get some income up. But his income has sucked this game. He's not in a good spot at all. His income is, of course, a little ahead of the Terran right now. But the Terran is beyond maxed. And with a new base coming up, Terran is going to soar ahead, especially when he drops mules. New base in the 5th gets cancelled once again. Ling backstab comes in. Planetary says, no way, Jose. Those Zerglings say, that's racist. And he's like, what? What are we even talking about right now? I didn't even know. 2 burrowed Banelings on the right side. The Marine drop dancing back and forth. Reynor needs some of those sneaky burrowed Banelings. Tries to... Oh, he misplaced this hatchery. He has to rebuild it. Even though there's only 4 mineral patches there right now. Reynor cannot get a 5th. He needs an ambush, he needs a surprise maneuver, and to secure a base at the same time. One amazing fight and a new base, and then he's back in the game. Until then, he's on the ropes, and it's all about how will Kua finish him off. Corruptor's coming forward now. They could actually do pretty well, but man, the Marauder count, plus the Liberator tanks behind it, very scary for Ultras to deal with. Where do you find the efficiency and where do you find the 5th base? Right now, Kua is just controlling the counterattack areas. He's got Widow Mines, he's got a tank at home, he's got a big spready up here. Lings are going to come in right now. Best bet was probably to just focus down that building command center. They're going to get inside the base, maybe get a little bit of damage. Oh! He lands a big fungal on the front lines and dives! But I'm so sorry I missed the start of that fight. His Ultras just got blasted. Too many Widow Mines, Marauders, and Liberators there. Even with a good fungal, it's not enough. The 2 Lings do get in, distracting Kua. That must be how he handled how he landed the fungal, was that distraction. But Kua's just all over him, man. Kua scans, makes sure there's nothing there. A couple Liberators going down, which is a nice move. You can get one more there. It does take a Widow Mine shot, though. And another Widow Mine shot, but taking out those Liberators at least. He's going to try and jump forwards. The Widow Mine's firing again. The Siege Tanks are going down. Nice bio stutter step. Ooh, the Corruptors are going to take out the Medevacs. Nicely done. Those Corruptors adding some real value to Reynor's setup right now. Those Burrowed Banelings still unable to find a mark just yet. Infestors are in the mix, but they are out of energy right now. 1 Ultra, a Packerling Bane. The 5th base denied for the 14th time this game. Units lost up very much in favor of Kua. And Kua is moving to a 6th base against a permanently stuck on 4 base Zerg. I'm stuck, Step Terran, says Reynor, and Kira says, no worries, I'll just shoot your face off. It's not the way that genre normally goes, but in this scenario, it's going to be devastating. Reynor just does not have the numbers to contest that army. He's got a melee force that is vastly outnumbered by the high damage long range enemy units. The Marine Marauder is just absolutely destroying, and there is just too much. The Ultras can never even make it into contact. A fungal whiffs on the ground. Reynor is overwhelmed and overrun. That was a fantastic game one for Cure. Reynor is refusing to give up. I mean, he fought well from behind. I don't think Reynor ever looked like he played like super bad. It's just that early double drop did so much damage, and Cure did such a great job with the momentum from there. So guys, this is where that run by distracted. You can see this army, as it moves forward here, he's going to cop a giant fungal. So check this out. He moves forward. The Ling run by comes in. Cure looks away. He does react very quickly. But look at this Infestor that throws this super deep fungal on that Marine Marauder. I mean, that was a big juicy if I've ever seen one. But there just wasn't quite the numbers to capitalize. Really well played by Cure. And that there was probably Reynor's last real serious attempt. If he didn't win that fight, he was done for. Alright guys, going into game 2, that was an amazing game 1 for Cure up here. He looked fantastic. He's going to go for the 2x Reaper by the looks of it. That's interesting. Doing this on altitude. A bit of an odd choice, and one which I think could catch Reynor off guard, but Reynor's going gas pool. Okay, I think Reynor is either planning to all in against this build, or what I'm thinking was more likely is he's expecting Command Center first on this map from Cure, and he wants to do some sort of build to punish that. I don't know how this is going to work out. I have no idea. Is it a Roach Warren? Surely not. I think that would be really bad versus 2 Barracks Reaper on such a big map. It'd be a good way to kill a guy who goes Command Center first, though, and Reynor is known for gambling, but this is his map pick. You really don't want to risk losing here. Could just be a quick Ling speed to shut down the Reapers. That is not a bad idea. But let's think about this from Cure's point of view. Past the 2x Reaper opening, he just outspeeded, out-multitasked Reynor, right? So clearly he's just better, faster, stronger. No. He got ahead early. Don't get me wrong. Like, that first double drop over on the 4th got him a big advantage, and from there he definitely did really good to spar with Reynor, but a few times he got a bunch of Marines or a drop just rolled into by Banelings when he wasn't watching. It felt like a very even back and forth matchup, but very well could go the other way if it was on a map like Altitude that's better for Reynor. So if Cure doesn't get some sort of early lead, I would much prefer he chill out a little bit on that sort of aggression. So what I want to see from Cure is like, okay, just take a deep breath. You don't need to go crazy. And by the way, we are on Altitude, which is actually a map which has pretty low performance compared to the other maps. So I do apologize if this one looks a little bit laggy once we get to big Ling Bane versus Bio battles. Some people will play Mech here on Altitude. I don't know if that will work against Reynor. He definitely struggles against Maru's Turtle Mech into Ghost, but getting to that stage in of itself is very difficult. 2x Reaper does come forward. Gonna start trying to pick away. Queen takes some damage. Reynor's kind of stuck on 2 base here, and he's actually building 12 Zerglings with Ling speed. So he's gonna look to surround the Reapers, but the Reapers have already run away. So he invests in 12 Zerglings, super fast Ling speed, and doesn't get any value for it because Q is playing very safe. Q just goes straight home. As long as he doesn't come back out, Reynor's going to be annoyed. He finds 0 value. Oh, that sucks. Like, at least if Q spawned down here, the tech lab would be exposed and he could maybe snipe that off and then run away. As it is, 3rd hatchery goes down, but definitely a suboptimal opening matchup for Reynor. He's going to go for a couple of extra Overlords, spreading a little bit of creep. That 3rd command center coming up behind this. It is once again the reactor on the factory. Kua loves this follow-up. Is he going to do the exact same build as the last game? I worry if he does, because I think Reynor will get better against that every time he plays against that. I wouldn't mind a Viking to clean up the Overlords. Marines are going to come over. He just sends those up to split them. Oh, Widow Mines. No way. You're going to do Widow Mine drop? All right. So this is going to be kind of... Oh, wow. It's going to be at least 2 medevacs, surely. I can't imagine he stops at just 1 Widow Mine drop. I imagine you go for 2 to 3 Widow Mine drops in a row. And then you're just going bio behind it and just playing that kind of non-stop harassment style. I quite like this style. I really think Widow Mine drops combined with good multitasking from a Terran are very hard to deal with. If they have some Marines or something on the map stimming around distracting you, the Widowmine drops are very hard to notice. Oh, it's just a 2? Okay, no. He's going to swap over here, so he is going to swap into that. So it's just a single 4 Widowmine drop into double medevac production and the factory. Do we see a reactor or a tech lab? We will find out. Is it going to be tanks or mines? But first, he's got to spend all of his money on the 2 medevacs, a few more Marines, and find that out in the near future. 3rd and 4th gas is on the way. 3rd command center is going to try and float down immediately. Double Evo chambers almost finished here for Reynor, so he's going for a bit of a greedy build, going kind of just double upgrades, very delayed lair. Widowmine drop boosting in towards the main. Reynor should be paying attention, and he does. Okay. Does a spore trick there a little bit too early before it even fires. There's no armory in this case, so you actually don't need the spore crawler necessarily. And so far the queen takes a hit. Spore crawler takes a hit. Oh, Widowmine got in the natural. He's doing some cute unburrow micro there. Nice. Look at that redrop. Gets it in the ground. But Reynor with some very good micro himself. That Widowmine looks like it only hit a single unit. Overall, doesn't really find too much damage. 3 Widowmines for 3 Zerglings and a drone. Double drop is right behind it, though. That's where some serious damage could potentially stack up. Reynor starts 1-1 upgrades. No lair, no Baneling Nest. Okay, guys, it's 6 minutes. No lair started, no Baneling Nest started. This starts to get very risky for Reynor. Lair starts now, finally, but come on. He's in trouble right now if he doesn't, watch out. He's only got 14 Zerglings. The Queens need to defend this on their own. Kua could have focused that down while running the medevacs away. He's not sure how much Ling Bane is around, so he's playing careful. Kura's got a 3rd, 4th, 5th barracks coming up. Starport swapped off the reactor. It is going to be siege tank production for now. I always feel like this is a better map for Widowmines, but there's some decent tank ledges over on the far left. You can put tanks down here. There's a few decent tank positions. 1-1 upgrades are about dead even. That's literally 54 seconds, 55 seconds. They're exactly even on 1-1. Spores and Lings in the main, ready to deal with that drop. He could unload in the corner and fight those Zerglings, because they're not right on top of it. He's going to try it. Oh my god, he picked up at the Marine that was about to die. Dude, Kua just did some really slick micro. 1 Marine was exposed and was about to die, and I was like, oh, you'll lose 1 Marine. And he actually manually clicked the Marine and clicked it back into the medevac. Now he's getting surrounded and overwhelmed, though. Maybe stayed a little bit too long. Units lost tab, not bad, though. 7 Marines for 31 Zerglings in total this game. Baneling speed now starts up at 7 minutes 20. We're going to have 8.5 minute Baneling speed. Very, very late. Kua's got a window to get in there before that's done. Mass Marine tank coming across this map. He's got the 5 racks pumping, but Reynor's creep spread will slow him down. Burrow has not been made just yet. Reynor is on 75 workers. He's going up towards 79. If he loses this hatchery, he does not have another expansion to go to. A handful of Zerglings and Banelings are ready. He's going to morph a few more Banelings, but that tank is in a pretty deep position. You could see just how far this tank reaches. Right now it's in range of those Banelings. He just doesn't have vision. Queen's going to take the first few shots. Marine stim up front and center. Those Queens trying to buy time, but taking tank fire and from a Marine concave. Nope, that's a nope. Reynor has to be careful. His Queens are a little vulnerable right now. He's going forward. He gets a medevac, but he loses 2 Queens for it. And a bunch of transfuses, and that hatchery is Gonski's. Has to give it up. He starts a hatchery in the bottom right, but he does this only once he realizes the other hatchery is about to die. So he's got a bit of downtime, stuck on 3 bases. I mean, this is looking really bad for Reynor. This is his map pick. The opening wasn't great. He took a bit of damage. The Widowmine drop, even though it didn't do direct damage, it did deny a lot of mining time. And that's something I should have probably touched on earlier. So it still did really delay Reynor. Reynor's tech is incredibly late. He's got great 2-2 upgrade timings. He's ahead 20 seconds. But I mean, right now, Kua is all over him, and Kua can continue to swarm like he did in the last game. Looks like he's going to do the tank ledge approach. He's going to put some siege tanks there, lift the Marines into the main base while clearing creep on the right watchtower. Reynor's got some Ling Bane nearby. Spore Crawler gets a few shots off, but it does get cleared up. He's going to have to pull his Queens into this main base, I believe. I don't think you can defend this without Queens here. Queens are all on the right side now, though. Queens are over there. We're going to check Reynor's control groups. He split his Queens. Oh, Banelings do get a few Marines, but a bunch of them get hit by 1 Baneling and then pick up. As long as they heal by the medevacs, you don't really care about getting damaged with those Marines. The creep, look at this creep schlong on the right side of the map, just sticking very far out. Sorry, very long creep spread is what I meant to say there. Medevac does get taken down. Double liberated on the right side. Uh-oh, Queens are there. Watch out, Kua. Oh, Reynor jumps on top of the Marines, forces them to pick up after they clear the front creep trimmers. One lib goes down, second one takes heavy damage. Good handling by Reynor. Reynor maintaining a 76 drone economy, and he's got a high finish he's making. Vipers. I really feel like Kua should slow this down and play late game now, but then again, it's altitude. Altitude sucks for late game for Terran because your bases are so spread out. He wants to keep carrying the momentum forward. I definitely understand that move. Watch out, Kua. Big Ling Bane army coming forwards, but the tank siege, the Marine stem, Reynor has to back off. Meanwhile, the Marines in the main really aren't doing much. He's got to find a way, maybe put a siege tank on the high ground, something that reaches a little deeper to force Reynor into engaging into this bad position. Right now, Reynor's just ignoring it. That's something Kua can't afford. He's got to apply pressure here. This is a nice move, going in and out, just forcing Reynor to react, but oh, he misclicked. What did he just do? I don't know. He somehow clicked those Marines elsewhere on the map, and they tried to move over there. Big mistake for Kua. He loses those guys. He's got to be careful. Reynor's ready to ambush him. Oh no! The tank siege up and block his Marines from retreating. Oh, and just like that, he loses a bunch of Marines in the main with a misclick. And then he loses map awareness, runs into Reynor's army, traps his Marines up against the edge of the cliff with not enough medevacs to pick him up, and his army just gets wiped on that right side. Reynor is now solidly in control of his side of the map, at least in the bottom right. On the left, don't get me wrong, this is annoying, but he's got Blinding Cloud now. He's going to shut this down. Marines lifting up to the high ground. I feel like this is a just pick up and unsiege the tanks and get out of there sort of maneuver. Oh, the Viper's got to be careful. Parasitic bombs, though. Great moves here by Reynor. Queen's on the right side, transfusing, pulling back. Kua's going to try and push this right side, but remember, he just lost an army on the right, then an army on the left. Now he's pushing on the right, deep on creep. This is not the right time to push. Right after you've lost 2 armies is when you're at your weakest, not your strongest. Kua getting a bit excited here and attacking at the worst possible time, losing track of the fundamentals, and I think just having the moment a bit too big in his eyes. I'm here in a finals. This is my opportunity. 150 grand for first place in this tournament. It's a $400,000 prize pool. It's, I think, only like $70,000 for second, something like that. It is a massive difference between first and second prize. And he is so hungry for it that he got excited. If you lose a fight or two and your army just gets smacked down, to go and present the rest of your army for your opponent to jump on is not what you want to do. Fundamentals of StarCraft dictate you want to fight when your army's strong, and you want to defend when your army's weak. And his army was weak after those few trades, but because his 4th base was so late, he was so committed to the 3-base aggression. I think that's why he felt like he had to keep on attacking. But now Reynor, even though he's been on 4 base for so long, he's got 2 potential 5 bases coming up. He can transfer workers to those. He's got a big Ling Bane army, and he forces the command center to lift. There's only a few Widow Mines and 1 siege tank here. Not a great defensive army. Oh my god, he's got Vipers. Reynor's just going to bust him. Reynor's just going to bust in here. Oh my lord, massive Ling Bane ultra spread. He abducts the Liberator. Blinding Cloud's the siege tank. The Marines trying to pull back those Widow Mines could get some big boom booms. He gets a giant hit on the Banelings, but more Banelings coming forwards into the natural. Good spreadies there from Reynor to minimize the Widow Mine damage. And remember, he clears out the natural, the 3rd base. The Ultralisks giving those SCVs hugs like a love-starved auntie who squeezes you until you feel like your ribs are going to break. Those SCVs are no longer in this world. The Marines do snipe a base and 3 drones in the bottom right. That was Reynor's 4th, but he doesn't lose too many units, and he is overwhelming at the front. 2-2 versus 2-2, very similar upgrades right now. The Ultraling Bane dancing back and forth. Lings rolling into the main. Baneling gets in there as well. How did those Lings get inside? I do not know. But it seems like this is all over. 6 drones left, or 6 SCVs. Kua at half the supply. What an unfortunate turn of events. He done so well. He done so well. And then he not done so well. And this was the point, right? 10 minutes? Yeah, so he stims in here, and let's just look at what went wrong for him really quickly in this game. I want to see where he clicked these Marines. So you can see in the bottom right what he has selected in real time. He's clicking him back, he's clicking him back. Runs forward. And then he just misclicked him somewhere. Somehow he just clicked down the bottom. Maybe he meant to like click on here or something. So he does a misclick, and then he's like, ah, damn. And he's like, okay, cool, let's push with this army anyway. We're still got momentum, still winning this game. Looks back at home, starts organizing his units, looks back at his army. Oh. That 30 seconds is where the game was lost. He was doing so well up to that point. Remember, Reynor had no ability to take a 5th. and was looking really rough. He had Vipers out. He had quick hive tech. So it's not like it was over. But from there, it was, I mean, you're doing a 3-base all in and you've just thrown away your army. Yeah, you've got a 4th. It's a very late 4th base. To lose all that and then to go and attack with his next army and throw that away as well, this was the beginning of the end here for Cure. All right, going into game 3, we've got Cure in the top left. Going to be going for that low ground barracks Reaper opening again. REYNOR in the bottom right. Remember, delaying the creep with those Reapers is a big part of why it's an effective way to start the game and slow down the Zerg's build-up. It's also incredibly safe, so you never feel like you need to SCV scout with this opening. On the other hand, REYNOR is expecting it. REYNOR's prepared for it mentally. He knows how to play against it. And I definitely felt in some of his games against Beyond, he did get a little ahead off of defending that opening. Spawning pool and gas on the way there. For those watching live in the chat, asking if they can redeem their points, you cannot redeem those today until I get all of my assets over to my new streaming PC, because I do not have any of those. So if you guys try and redeem something like put pig in the hot tub, I would have to just like splash some water on my face or something like that, because I don't even have my green screen on right now. Anyways, we've got Reapers coming out. I know Beyond started going for a Marine right after this. The 2 Reapers, he would go Marine, but I'm pretty sure Q is just going to stick with the standard 3 Reaper. Yep, 3rd Reaper on the way. REYNOR's going to move out. He's going to try and take that 3rd base. Looks like he's decided this is his preferred response, is to still just take that 3rd base in the face of it. And he says, look, if you attack that with all your Reapers, no worries. I drone really hard and ignore it, and I can just rebuild another hatchery there after canceling it. And if you don't attack it, that's fine. I get a 3rd hatchery up. So that seems to be the calculation he's making. Talking to some players, some of them believe that's not the right response. They're saying, no. Just droning on 2 bases, get your Overlord, hit your double inject, drone up your 2 bases really fast, take your 3rd a little slower. Maybe do what Solar does, hide a drone out there so you can sneak the 3rd at about 3 minutes. But REYNOR doing something a little different. He's going to send some Lings across the map as well. That's cute. I was maybe thinking of focusing down the tech lab and the reactor, but comes in a little bit too early and the Reaper scouts it. So, of course, the tech lab and the reactor doesn't start. You could also say Cure always goes factory and command center before tech lab reactor. So he rarely has those exposed, whereas Beyond likes to go for the quick tech lab reactor. Reapers here doing what they can. REYNOR's actually going to bring out Queens to defend it, so he's not even willing to give it up, and he actually gets a Reaper kill. Very nice for REYNOR. Now, this is Gresfin. Keep in mind, REYNOR hates this map. REYNOR actually vetoed this map versus Clem. I'm just realizing I forgot to say that in my REYNOR Clem cast. I was going to say it, and a big fight happened, and I just forgot. So basically, in that series, because that was still a best of 5, he vetoed Gresfin, even though he hates Neo-Humanity, like so much. He absolutely abhors it. And yet, he knew Clem wasn't going to pick Neo-Humanity, so he vetoed Gresfin. And likewise, Cure has not picked Neo-Humanity either. And yet, playing late game on Neo-Humanity, REYNOR gets tilted. He's really bad in late game. I mean, not really bad, but he gets very angry. Nice snipe, gets the stim cancelled. Very well done. Yeah, it's surprising. Cure going Dragon Scales into Gresfin. I guess he'll play Neo-Humanity as his next map pick. 2 games from now. Reaper does finally get picked off. Reaper's still trying to be annoying. REYNOR is having none of it. Splits his Lings to the high ground. Oh, that Reaper's going to win that fight. Ha ha! Cure says, I could dance all day, and I'm still getting headshots, That is a pure ownage Reaper if I've ever seen one. That is an FPS Doug Reaper, man. Queen's count is growing right now. Gas fully saturated in the main base. 4th hatchery's on the way up north. Liberator again. He's really liking this follow-up. I think I probably generally prefer this to the Widowmine drop, but because he used it in game 1, I do worry that it's a little predictable. Double depot's on the way, so he will get out of that supply block very quickly. REYNOR, on the other hand, I don't know if I've seen him hit a single supply block this tournament. And that is kind of crazy to say. I feel like Reynor and Dark used to be like, I almost thought they were twins who were separated at birth with how they played. But this tournament, I feel like Dark hit 4 supply blocks by the 4-minute mark, and I don't know if Reynor hit any supply blocks, probably like 2 in the entire tournament across 20 plus games. People are saying if the Reaper had its knife out, it would run faster. You guys are correct. Unfortunately, we don't have any cool Reaper skins with any pointy bits on it. Not switched on right now anyway. That Overlord did hide in the back, ready to come in and scout later if need be. Ling's going to scout in there, try and get an SCV. Oh, he's going to get it! Oh, Hero Zergling gets an SCV. 2-to-1 cost efficiency trade, and of course killing workers is always big. Only 47 workers at 6 minutes. Cua's macro is either very sloppy this game, or it's because he's... Wait, 7 drones just went down. What? 7? That was more than I was expecting. That was the Liberator, right? Oh, sorry guys, bad observing. My bad, my bad. Okay, he got 7 drones on the Liberator. Very well done. Unless Q is hitting a really sharp timing and he's purposely cutting SCVs, you can see his SCV production is not consistent. It's actually been pretty low in this game, whereas Rain is already at 77 workers. This means if Q can just kill him now, it's all worth it because he got more army out earlier. But if this is just like a mistake and he doesn't manage to capitalize, things are going to hurt for him in the long term. That is an amazing trade with those Marines, though. They just took out like 20 Zerglings for 1 or 2 Marines. He's got the Hellion Reaper on the south. They could dive there as well. The Queens were a little slow to respond. Unfortunately, Q wasn't on top of it. Ooh, but look at that. Reynor jumps on top, kills a few of the Marines, and forces him to pick up and pull further back to heal. That's very important, because Baneling speed 1-1 are a while away. Reynor wants to delay any trades until he has a little bit longer to stabilize on what I was going to say is a disgusting 75 drone economy. I look down, he's at 84. He's droning in the midst of this. Reynor is playing a very greedy game of StarCraft, and he's building a Spire. He's going to go Mutalisks as well. Okay. Reynor is literally just fully bloody and gorged right now. He's excited, and he's playing that 6 more drones? What are you doing? Okay, that's actually too greedy, I think. This push could be a real problem for Reynor. Q needs to get damage done with this push because his opponent has been way too greedy. He needs to find something. Liberator comes forward. Queens are just going to tank that, take it in the face, and they do take the Liberator down for 2 Liberator shots. Not quite enough to take out the Queen. Marine tank Hellion coming forwards. Reynor's getting ready with a backstab, but there is a tank and a bunch of Marines on that ramp. The siege tank is here. He's going to lift 1 siege tank behind. Oh, very good tank positioning. This is a lovely spot for Q to camp. Whoa! Lings run in, though. Lings run in. 6 SCVs go down to those Lings. Splits a few Lings again to take out 2 more SCVs and get a bit of tank splash on that one. Even taking out depots right now. Banelings rolling in on the front. The Marines do back off. Q in a multitasking war with extreme urgency. If he doesn't get a lot of damage done right now, he's going to be in trouble. He's starting 2-2. Remember, he's on 55 workers versus 90. Q has to rip this Zerg's head off right now. He cannot let this go any longer. He's reinforcing with a double drop, but he doesn't know if there's another backstab, so he has to leave his tanks at home. And that's very good for Reynor, because if 2 more tanks and 30 more Marines arrive, I think Reynor can't break this position. But right now, while it's not that defended, this could work. Uh-oh, Reynor does lose a handful of drones there. Still at 83, though. A massive worker count. 11 Mutalisks are on the way. These 2 tanks nicely positioned. Reynor looks like he wants to go for a backstab again, but I think with all these tanks here, Q should be fine at home. Reynor will have to set up to flank this army once he realizes that. And he's actually going to give up this hatchery, which seems a little like something I wasn't expecting, but you realize, wait, he's got a 4th there. He's got a 5th finished up the top. He just moves his workers there. He's completely fine. Why not? Sling Bane over on the left. They're not really ready to flank this. He could save this hatchery if that Ling Bane was ready to flank. Oh, he splits some Banelings. He pulls back some, but lets a few Banelings continue, takes out a lot of those Marines, and guess what? The Mutas have gone across the map. He says, I'll give up the hatchery. You can win the battle. I'll win the war. The Mutalisks go to the north, and they start picking off these SCVs. That is a big problem. He has a turret in each base, so shout out to Kua for being prepared for this, but it's still going to be an issue. How many mutas? 2 Mutalisks just went down for 5 SCVs. Not the best trade for Reynor until you realize he's at 86 drones and he can do whatever he wants. Any trade is a good trade for him because the 4th base has just started. Cure is playing a tempo and momentum and speed-based style. He's clearly afraid of playing against Reynor in like the big macro game, but I don't think he just hit his timings sharp enough. REYNOR has been greedy as he's gotten away with it, and now he has the swarm. Look at that. Banelings split off. A few of them do connect. He's got Lingbane on the south, Lingbane on the north, and the Mutas up in the top left being a nuisance. Q is trying to move this ball of units forward. Marines, Hellbats, and Siege Tanks. But where does he strike? I think he's going to try and strike that ledge that we often see players push, but he keeps having to siege up on the way. Lots of Marines pumping out. No add-ons on those barracks. Massling Bane in for the backstab. Marines on the front line taking out a lot of those Banelings. Cure has got to be careful. He's in big trouble on that third, but a tank and a few Marines will save him. It's 2-2 versus 1-1 right now. REYNOR far behind on the upgrades. Give him 50 seconds, though. He'll close that gap. +3 weapons and drilling clauses on the way, as well as a second factory. 4th command center is floating out. Q is trying to get towards a late game, but on only 55 workers. We have a Zerg that is maxed out and starting to bank resources. REYNOR is on 5 bases. He's got a 6th going up in the north and a 7th replacing that hatchery in the south, where his 3rd base used to be. Mutalisk's going to take out these tech labs up here. Not a bad move. Those tech labs did finally build. Concussive shells did not get made this game as well. So remember, if there's a heavy marauder count at some point, then they will not have concussive, and it's unlikely in this chaos with the mutas keeping him busy that he remembers to start concussive. It's when the game gets chaotic like this, it's very hard to remember that stuff. A barracks even gets picked off. Well done. A couple of barracks going down, as well as a few tech labs. He's only on 7 barracks right now. The Lingbane starting to gain map control. The creep was pushed very far back this game. There's still a... Oh, that's definitely not Chadhammer. That's Rando Calrissian. This siege tank, it looked like, was trapped behind, tried to move home, and has ended up just sieging in the corner of the map. Hopefully gets to join up some of the forces later when a medevac's down there. Mutas trying to pick off a depot. They set it on fire. Oh, here we go. He's going for a YOLO. There's a tank behind that. Oh, man. This is a kind of crazy trade for REYNOR. He does blow up the planetary. That's like 50 Banelings, but he gets the SCVs behind the mineral line. 14 SCVs in a planetary. It's not a cost-efficient trade, but REYNOR says cost-efficient, cost-schmanifant, you bloody idiot. I have 90 drones and I've had it for a long time. My income is so much more. I just need... If I deny his 4th, he's 3 base, I'm 7 base. Like, I just need to keep smashing Banelings in. At this point, he can throw that Amex at his opponent. That's right, he's got the black platinum Amex that's made out of actual metal. It's got bloody jewels crusted on it, and he says... Cure, you're my servant. You need to get out of the game, and just starts throwing the credit card at his face. Cure, not very happy to find himself as a service employee. He's not going to give up that easy. He's got a big army supply advantage, but REYNOR has a ton of Banelings and a ridiculous income. REYNOR just needs to take small trades wherever he can, keep expanding away from Cure, and keep finding where he can find good fights. 9 SCVs in a tank go down to a massive Ling run by there. Massive Widowmine hits to clean up those Zerglings for Cure, and he's denying the front base. He's finding some value. The Marines come back and kill all those Zerglings for free. The Mutalisks are still being a nuisance in the main, but that's about all. Lingbane cleans up the bio in the main. Cure not quick enough to pick it up, but I think he just lost his spawning pool. Once again, spawning pool was on the wrong side of the base. Something we've seen a lot in this tournament so far. It is starting to be rebuilt, but right now, REYNOR cannot make Zerglings. Do not lose this game by losing your spawning pool, REYNOR. Not like this. Not like this, REYNOR. This would be a very frustrating way to lose. All he can build is Mutalisks right now. Another 30 seconds until the spawning pool's finished. This is a big mistake right now. This is a big mistake for REYNOR, losing that spawning pool. Can Cure capitalize? He can't dive on creep because there's still a lot of Banelings and Zerglings, and he's on a mostly Marine-focused army. Diving on creep would get him killed. And look at this. REYNOR's buying time very, very well. REYNOR has 26 lava available right now. His Mutalisks are coming back. They're trying to help out. Did a good job of keeping some pressure back on Cure's side. He does take out a siege tank, but he loses 4 Mutalisks for it. REYNOR continuing to trade in the style of a CEO who says, let them eat cake. And you know what? He might actually drown Cure in cake in this game because he's got so much army. The SCVs, what are they doing here? The SCVs have been pulled. That's got to be an accident. There's no way he did that on purpose. He must have been running them away from Banelings or something. And here we go. Cure with an equal army supply. 3-3 versus 2-2. He's ahead on the upgrades. He's got to win this fight. That's a lot of Banelings. Oh my god, that's a lot of Banelings. The Widowmines need some big boomies. They don't land the big boomies on the Banelings. They only had a few Zerglings. The Marine spready was pretty nice. But I don't know if pretty nice is good enough. Cure's army gets pushed back. REYNOR instantly remaxing on Lings and Ultras. The Mutas are still here chasing him back. And you're back to 4 bases with just 40 workers. I'm still on 6 bases with 83. REYNOR says, that's good enough for me, mate. And Cure is pushed back deep into his own territory. Even losing the turret. Oh, no. Those Mutalisks, even with only just +1, doing very well there. This fourth is not even a planetary or an orbital right now. You can just tell how Kua never really got established in this game. Got his fourth blown up. The new fourth base is not even upgraded. And REYNOR getting away with massive greed in that early stage. Even though there was 7 kills on the Liberator, it was not that early. And it felt like Kua was just way too far behind the curve. A couple of supply blocks in there. And unfortunately gives up a very good map for Terran. Alright guys, going into game 4 on Ancient Cistern. It's REYNOR's second map pick. This is a tough one for Terran to finish Zerg off on. REYNOR's in the bottom left. It's going to be a 2x Reaper build once again. Interesting suggestion from chat. They were like, why not proxy at least one of the barracks, get the Reapers in, get more damage, get more momentum? Because normally the floating home is a problem, but with Kua's build, he doesn't use those barracks for a long time after building the Reapers. Usually he sits there for a while not building anything and goes factory third command center, then a minute later starts add-ons and then Marines. But turns out he's actually building a quicker Marine this time, so it looks like he does want to deny REYNOR's scouting. He hasn't got any big damage yet. He's going to focus the drone, force the Lings to engage. Not able to get it though. 2 Reapers. Going to try and damage the Queen. Instant inject for REYNOR, who's already taken a third base up north. One of those Reapers heavily damaged, but no actual kills so far, so very well defended. A Marine is there, and he's going for a 3rd and 4th barracks, but the Overlord's going to see it. Oh, REYNOR not turning around. I think Kua thought he was going to turn around. Oh, no! Oh, he's going for a big committed 4-axe attack, and it's immediately scouted. REYNOR says, lol, 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 get cucked. Does he cancel? The vision's gone. Do we cancel Kua? No, Kua's not going to cancel, but it's all been spotted. I wouldn't mind him canceling one and building a 3rd command center, honestly. It's a tough way for the game to start for Kua. Did he get any more damage? He got 1 drone, so shout out to him for that. And he does kill an Overlord, so it's not like it's free. This does slow down REYNOR's opening a little bit. And look at that immediate 3rd command center. He's like not using the barracks at all. So Kua's saying, okay, cool, you scouted that. You're going to have to be safe because you know I have 4 barracks. You're probably going to build a bunch of fighting units to defend, maybe about 5 minutes. And I'm actually just going to be focusing on SCV production and macro. So that's a good idea. Let's see how good Kua is at working on his worker production, because that was an issue in that last game, and I think he's been really good at it so far. Yeah, you can see he's making sure Marine production is super low priority. Instead, he's just like, build SCVs, let's take these gases so I can get my upgrades started, build more add-ons. Very much focusing on the long term. I like this focus for Kua considering he's been scouted. Let's see if REYNOR can figure out what's happening. If he can realize what's happening and drone up to like 60 workers, then he'll be still in a very good position because obviously he's already at 44 versus 32. His 3rd is up, but his own tech is, of course, going to be quite slow. And REYNOR's first supply block, 66. He's unable to build much here. Obviously, he's got a little bit of lava available, building 3 Overlords right now. And the Zergling's trying to make sure he scouts any move outs. The Reaper's trying to deny vision. They're not able to do too well. 2 more reactors building in the main, as well as a reactor ready to swap with the factory in the starport. 3rd command center is building, and the SCV production has been very consistent this time around. REYNOR's really trying to get vision of what's going on. He definitely does not realize that this has been cancelled. This like, I'm going to shove with 30 Marines at 5 minutes. That's not happening. There's only 9 Marines on the map, and yet REYNOR is massing Zerglings. So REYNOR is not getting that economic advantage. Kua playing this out really well. I love the way Kua denies information here. Really well done. Double engineering bay goes up there. REYNOR's going to expand in a straight line on Ancient Cistern up to the north. His creep spread is not that far out for 5 minutes 20. That's the power of the 3 Reaper opening. And at this point, REYNOR's got to realize, like, did I just make 60 Zerglings almost? Like look, he's got another 8 Zerglings. He's going to go up to 55 Zerglings. And he doesn't really have anything to do with them. But he also saw the Marine counts really low. So if those Marines move out, he can swarm in. Oh, look at that, they're bait. He sends out the bait Zerglings. He's hoping the Marines come to deal with it, and then the rest can come in. But Kua didn't take the bait. He thought Kua would have moved forward, but he didn't. And REYNOR's like, ah, man. And he's just going to back off for now. Command center does lift off. He's like, well, if you come out and let me surround you, I can fight you. But once this 1-1 shields and a few more Marines are out, I think Kua's fine. Kua doesn't need to mine off that base right now. He's losing a little bit of SCV production time. It's not the end of the world. As long as he hides in the mineral line, he should not be out in the open. Does not make sense. Raise the... Kua's playing a little bit odd right now. I feel like he should just raise his wall, leave those Marines in the 3rd base. Does let a couple of SCVs go down. It doesn't end up too bad. It just looked dangerous. It looked unnecessarily dangerous. That's why I was freaking out for a second there. So don't worry. He seems to know what's going on. Turns out Q is pretty good at StarCraft after making it the grand finals of a $400,000 tournament. And Lings are there. Double drop going down the south right now. We've got a lair coming in. 1-1 upgrades on the way as well as a Baneling nest. Up to 66 workers is REYNOR. Q is only on 50. He's got his own third landed though, and he is rallying those SCVs out now. He's got the tank. I love that he's always leaving a tank guarding this little choke point on his natural. And let's be real, even if you come in with mass banelings, you only have a crappy little choke point you can go through. And this is one of the follow-up advantages of this 2 barracks wall off, is later on, if it's a depot wall, they can blow your whole wall up and create a giant opening to shoveling Bane in. But he actually is doing it in a slightly different way there, and that's allowing him to stop pretty much all of the backstabs throughout the tournament so far. Every Zerg that's tried to go around, especially REYNOR in Game 1, are finding tanks and Marines ready for them. 4th Command Center is coming down right now. 2nd Factory, Armory, all the good stuff to round out that part of the game. And you know what? REYNOR looks a little afraid. This is not the 90 drone REYNOR that we saw over on Gressven, just being a greedy madman. He's on 77 workers. This is a careful REYNOR who's like, when's he attacking? What's happening? Where's he coming from, man? And you know what? Q is just sitting there. He's chilling. He knows this early game was not great with his 4X getting scouted. He realizes he's got to buy time. Oh, good transfuses for REYNOR, keeping that queen alive very nicely. A few creep tumors go down. Q still gets a successful trade. Doesn't really lose anything. The Lings dancing in the main. They're doing the beep test, man. Anyone remember that from PE class? These make you run back and forwards. God damn, that thing was tiring. Marines there with the medevacs. Going to pull back on that right side. Marines and Widowmines in the top left as well. So far, it feels like both guys are waiting for the other to make a big play. REYNOR just shoves Lings in like a mad dog. He's going to get that tank on the rally, but that ball of Marines is going to kill a lot of these Zerglings. On the front, looks like a few Marines got cleaned up by the Banelings, but most of them picked up to safety. This might be an overextension for REYNOR, but he's at least getting a big distraction and disruption. A bit of a crazy move, in my opinion, but does catch Q are not completely prepared. And those Zerglings do all go down. Does have to scan, though, to take out the last ones. These Marines in the top get a big Zergling trade as well. Units lost tab looking okay, but remember that Q is only on 65 workers. REYNOR's now on 84. Feels like the moment the Terran is fighting on their side of the map rather than REYNOR's side, I look away and I look back and he's like, oh, I have a hive and almost 90 drones. And I'm like, when did that happen? I didn't even see that upgrade start, man. What the heck? 5th base in the top left. Not a very fast 5th base. Pressure has had some effects from Cure. This Ling blocking the 4th from landing. 2-2 is going to finish about 30-40 seconds faster here for Cure. Widowmine on the left does get cleaned up. No OV speed just yet. That's going to be necessary against a Widowmine style. Big Biomine push in the south. He's going to try and out-multitask REYNOR on a big map. I do think Biomine is a great way to play here on its cistern. Oh! Big boomy! Big boomy boom. You know REYNOR would have looked a little bit annoyed after that one. I mean, it's not going to end the game on itself, but a very good Widowmine hit. And he answers with some nice Baneling hits in the south. Not too bad. That Widowmine fires, but only gets a couple Zerglings, and it does lose its life for that. Q is going to go for the droppy drop in the main, but he realizes, I don't know if I want to really commit to that. I've still got to get my macro set up. Let's build some more command centers. +3 attack, vehicle plating, all that good stuff. Tries to unload some Marines, and you can see how that went as a few of those Marine corpses fade into the ground. Top left hatchery going up. Finally, the 5th base will be finishing for REYNOR, as well as the 6th base down the bottom. Ooh, looks like a lot of Ling Bane and Marines both traded down there. Bio still denying this area of the map. REYNOR has a hive. He's got 3 Vipers. They'll be very good for parasitic bombing the medevacs, but not that useful beyond that. So the Vipers are just not that important in this scenario. Infestors are actually goated against the Biomine style, because anything you can use to ambush your opponent and take momentum away from a Biomine player is very powerful. That, Ling backstabs can also be really good. Watch out for the Widowmine. Gets a decent hit, but nothing to write home about. Meanwhile, up in the middle, looks like the Banelings crash in. Q's spread is too good. Q is going to deny this 5th base. Really nice move for him. The drones do hide behind the mineral line, so they can retake this a bit later. Q is going to continue forward. Interesting. Hydra's coming in, +3 carapace. Not too... It's just started up. It's not too far behind the +3 attack of Terran. Viper's coming in. Got to watch out here. He could abduct into the Hydras. You have to run. Run, 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 run. Oof, gets out of there just before the Vipers get in abduct range. Lately, I've seen a lot of players in that scenario forget that abduct is a thing and they drop parasitic bombs. Guys, if you're in range to drop a parasitic bomb, you're in range to cast abduct. And once you have Hydras out, you want to abduct the full medevacs in and shoot them down. It's been kind of annoying me the number of times I see a bunch of full medevacs just get damaged by parasitic bombs when the Zerg could take them down. Adrenal glands, Burrow on the way, Overlord speed, all the utility upgrades. Rain is rich right now. 95 workers for the Italian Zerg. He takes out the Widowmine before it can fire. That Widowmine will get a juicy shot. Parasitic bomb does land, but a quick spready from Cure. In the south, Cure doing some very good stutter step. Has to pick up and get out of there. That medevac, run, run, run. Ooh, he barely gets it out. Biomine, gathering outside the natural 5th base going up in the south for Cure. I do not like this 5th base. I really feel you get a 5th and a 6th here, and they're all close by that 3rd. I always feel that's the better way, whereas here, this feels like it's sticking out. And then, I mean, I guess from there, you have to take this base. If he takes this base and then goes to the top base, that's basically just gifting the Zerg easy attack angles. Already, this base looks very, very exposed, in my opinion. I actually think you should probably take this low ground base first and push that angle so you're defending it with your army. Remember, Zerg has the mobility advantage. You got to be very careful with how you expand as a Terran, or you're going to give them a nice fight. Biomine spreading quite good in the north. You got to guard those Widowmines, though. You don't want those Widowmines to be out on their own. Banelings roll in. The Bio defends. Ghost count starting to grow right now as the Lurker tech starts for Reynor. I don't know if Lurkers are going to hit the field at a time when they're actually any good. A few Marines going to finish off that drone. Cloak is on the way. +3/3 Adrenal Glands as well. Interesting to see them both just go up into a big macro game here. 4 more command centers are on the way. Who's better at this stage of the game? Decent Widowmine hits on a few of those Banelings. Cure still seems to be trading pretty well, and the units lost tab backs up that story. 5,000 resources more efficient. That is pretty darn good for him. Doesn't feel like Reynor's really making any big plays. Reynor's been maxed for a while. I feel like Reynor probably needs to either jump on one of these armies or start doing some big backstabs. He can't just be defending and trading this poorly for this long. Here we go. Does get rid of these Widowmines, clears up this space. He's doing a good job of respreading creep, so don't get me wrong. It's not like he's not doing anything. He's very busy! Burrowed Banelings get a huge shot! Damaging the Marauders there and taking out the 10 Marines nestled in the middle. Very nice Baneling bomb for Reynor. That was a fantastic, fantastic way of hitting that. That's going to make Cure very paranoid whenever he's out there. He's going to be scanning a lot more. Reynor's still only on 5 bases. If you can deny this front base, a 5-base Zerg, you're on 5 bases. I mean, it's really good for Cure in that regard. But remember, he's invested so much in infrastructure. He's making nukes, building armor, vehicle plating. He's making all the little bonus things. He's making high-sec auto-tracking and, oh man, only 2 medevacs? Oh no, and both of the medevacs are going to go down as well. The whole army in the south gets jumped on. Cure way too deep with only 2 medevacs. Where were the rest? He's got too many medevacs in the north and over with his other units at the rally. Now Reynor immediately is going to pounce. A big mistake for Cure there. It felt like I was just singing his praises, but he cannot afford a fight like that. He now loses control of his 5th base. He loses some command centers. He gets routed in the north at the same time. Oh, this is a really rough turn of events. Reynor pouncing with that killer instinct. Cure, man. You cannot be deep on Zerg territory without having enough medevacs to pick everything up. It was way too deep the way he went there, way too dangerous, and it costs him big time. Now, Reynor only has 1 Overseer. He does need to remake on the south. Luckily for Cure, a few of those Widowmines do survive on the map because they did not get rebuilt. Viper's still hanging around, coming back. +3 melee, +1 ranges on the way, +3 carapace is done. +2 vehicle plating going to be done for Cure soon. He's got a lot of workers. He's going to grab these idle boys, send them south to start mining. But he doesn't have a crazy bank to work with right now. He's got 6 orbitals, which is not bad. But he's got to get some more work done. And the thing is, Reynor can remax very quickly. Reynor has a good solid income, but more importantly, a bit of bank built up. Cure's income very similar in the minerals, but no bank. Nice run by. He's going to get in. Not much to defend this at all. The SCVs get destroyed on that base. He does get a hatchery down there in the bottom side of the map. Those Lings, though, are doing so much. Killing depots, 19 SCVs splitting into the natural as well. Down the bottom, Reynor going to try to jump on top. He says, you're distracted. You're busy at home. The Banelings roll in. It might not have been the absolute cleanest fight, but he definitely got a few good hits on those Marines. Some of the Marine Marauder escapes, but he's got to watch out because Q is on this side of the map. He's kind of broke right now. Parasitic bombs on the medevacs are going to turn this into a one-way trip. That hatchery gets killed, which is nice in of itself, but the Widow Mines get cleaned up. And Reynor, if he drops some power bombs and runs away, I think this would be a really good move for him. He tries to chase into the Marauders. Not a great fight. Drops just a single parasitic bomb, killing one medevac. But he does have to back off. Those Hydras a little exposed right now. The rest of the army's coming down. Reynor says, Pig, this is what we call a distraction. I know you don't have those in Australia, you simpletons. Lings run in the north, get even more economic damage. He's also got a fully saturated base up in the top left. This base going as well. So Reynor healthily on 6 bases against a Terran who's struggling to reestablish a 5th. That is a solid advantage. He's now making adaptive talents for his lurkers. The ghost count is at 10. There's no lurkers on the map right now, but a swap into them where there's not many ghosts or tanks could be great. Another couple of SCVs and a mule go down. Good burrow there, forcing scans out as well. Just being an irritating Zerg player to play against. Massling Bane, Hydra Viper coming forwards. The Bio Ghost trying to get in between those bases and his economy. The Planetary is about to finish, but that is a massive onslaught. And nice parasitic bombs on the medevacs as well. Good spready on those, including the ground units, and he does avoid the worst of it. Reynor has to back off, and he's going to lose his base up top. But Q has got no medevacs here. Oh, he's got 3. Not enough to pick up everything, but he can pick up a lot of these units and get out of there. Dives on, takes a hatchery out. Dives on the south, takes out another hatchery. Remember, Reynor was not rich for most of this game. He's got a decent economy, but it's not something where he can just throw away bases like that. Q has the army supply advantage. It's hard to bring that to bear on the Zerg on such a big map with so much creep spread up the middle. Feels like Reynor's had center control for a very long time, and as successful as Cure is on the edges of the map, with Reynor having so much creep up the middle, it gives him a lot more mobility and scouting. Oh, Ghost has his rifle holstered there. Unfortunately, runs into an Overseer and does get taken out before being able to call in a nuke. The Bio's going to drop here. The Banelings do force him to pick back up and get out of there. Units lost tab right now, 6,000 resources in favor of Cure. Remember, it was about 5,000 resources ahead 8-9 minutes ago. So since then, they've been trading even. Trading even against the Zerg is very, very bad for the Terran player. You want to be way ahead in that. You want that same sort of ratio to continue. Nice snipes. Takes out a lot of the lurkers, but some SCVs are exposed. You don't want to lose that command center either. Reynor doesn't want to corner himself, though. He's a little afraid of those ghosts and their snipe. Marauders here. The Marauder count is so good. Marauders are really good at Banelings, soaking up Banelings, and if you have Widow Mines spread amongst them, it's even better. Snipe does get broken there. Good quick pullback by Reynor. And man, this feels like a position now where Reynor is definitely, if he can reestablish a few bases, he's good, but instead he's just got this base fresh, this base doing okay, this base pretty fresh. He's still got good mining, but he doesn't have that like crazy base number. On the other hand, Q is only at 55 workers. The Widow Mine spread get a few okay shots off, but Reynor's spreads are pretty good at deactivating the worst of it. Widow Mine ends up hitting all the medevacs, not really hitting those Zerg units very much at all. Massling Bane, Hydra Viper, it's a solid army composition. Q are trying to play the mobile Biomine Ghost style. He's going to try and push the south. Snipes the Queens up pretty well. Takes out Lurker number 1. Lurker number 2 goes down as well. Another Queen gets sniped. Good trade there for Q. He's got the bottom right 6th base up. It's an orbital though, not a planetary. And remember, spaces are sticking out very badly right now. The Marines are also a little up front. Notice he shuffles those behind the Marauders. Good formation management. Mass Lurker in the top. Oh, watch out, Q. Oh, he's not looking. Takes 1 or 2 big volleys from those lurkers. Ling split into the bottom right. That's going to force him to come forwards. Parasitic bombs on the medevacs as well. The medevacs get burst down. The Baneling's going to roll in front. He does a spready to avoid any big Widow Mines. But look at that. The Banelings are going to crash over everything. The Lings clean up the planetary. The Banelings cleaning up the bio. And that should be lights out. Reynor overwhelming Cure. He's still got those lurkers up top as well. He could run those in on this base. The bottom right base denied by the Zerglings that he split off from the army earlier. Reynor is all-consuming. And this is why you've got to win your maps for Cure. That last map, dropping that one was rough. But not only that, the game before on altitude, he was looking so good. And then everything turned around so suddenly. If he'd won altitude, taken Reynor's map off him, I mean, this could be a very different series. As it is, it looks like Rain is going to go up 3-1. The Lurkers come in from that side. There's a Lurker on the south. Cure is working with the dregs of a Terran late game. This is a pretty good army and next to no economy, next to no map control. REYNOR is slowly rebuilding the bases. That one's back up. This one's back up. And he's still got a giant army. His bank is starting to grow. He's up in army, up in workers. His upgrades are pretty much even. And he's still spamming those parasitic bombs on the medevacs, and that value really adds up over time. Those medevacs get absolutely popped. Nicolas Cage's voice comes echoing out of one of those as it crashes to the ground going, "The bees! Not the bees! Ah!" What an actor. REYNOR goes up 3-1. All right, guys, he's on the ropes. He's got to put it all out now. He's going back on his map pick, and this is the map which REYNOR dreads. Neo-Humanity, he hates this map. It's Cure's job to force a late-game Turtle Fest. But very few Terrans feel comfortable going directly there. Maru, best player in the world. He only tends to go there when the game gets to that stage. And that's why Maru, people are like, why doesn't he just turtle all game? Just play the late game, you're unbeatable there. But Maru's like, well, that's not really how you play TvZ. You can't give Zerg that freedom to just macro like crazy, or they will overwhelm like mad. And I kind of agree with it. Third hatchery is on the way. Just a single Reaper here. This is a more normal build. Reaper expand into 2 Marines behind it. Whoa, 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 what? Oh, he's doing a third command center build. I love it. I love it. This is a cool build, guys. Q is going to build his third CC on location. This is a slick build by the Korean player. Oh, no? Oh, don't pansy out of it. Dude, it's fine. Oh, that would have been so cool if he built that on location. Aww. Don't know what it was that scared him. Maybe it was seeing the few lings, or like the ling speed is just started a bit. I think it must be the ling speed timing. He must be like, oh, that ling speed's too early. REYNOR might be aggressive. I would have liked that. It's not the biggest change. He'll lose about 2 SCVs worth of time floating it down. It's not the end of the world. Starport does go up on the high ground. Second gas comes in. This factory gonna go for a little bit of a float about. And we'll swap onto that reactor and get the Hellions started. Ooh, he gets a tumor. It's not a tumor. The Queen with a surprisingly strange voice. Not what you'd expect from her. Wouldn't that be weird? Zerg just crashes into your house, slobbering bloody mouth fangs and stuff. You're like, oh god, it's gonna eat me. And it's just like, it's not a tumor. And then it just like kind of hops away. And you're like, I'm very confused right now. Anyways, Hellions are on the way. We've got a starport about to go over. So it looks like Hellion Banshee. Pretty solid standard stuff for Cure. Moving away from the 2-Rex Reaper. Overlord flying to the back of the base. Oh! REYNOR's scouting is next level. Last game he scouts the 4X with an Overlord immediately. This time he immediately scouts the Cloak. If I was Cure, I would cancel Cloak, make a single Banshee, just go up into second and third barracks a little bit faster, because you ain't gonna find jack with those Cloak Banshees. And the thing is, REYNOR will build extra spores. He'll make a lair a little earlier than normal, just because he knows you're going Banshee. So I actually think it makes perfect sense to just play that way. Oh, can that Overlord die? Looks like it can't really escape. Die, boy. Stop perving on my SCVs. I told you to not watch here, boy. That Overlord is one of those, what do they call themselves? Auditors on YouTube. Basically goes up to the police and starts filming them, and they're like, what are you doing? And he's like, I refuse to answer your questions. That's essentially what that Overlord was doing. Unfortunately, they found out the hard way that, yeah, it turns out after the police beat you unconscious, they can also delete the footage off your camera. So that Overlord doesn't do too well. Reaper does get cleaned up. Good cleanup just to get a bit of map control back here for REYNOR. Banshee chilling in the middle of the map. He's still going for the 2 Banshees. So he's kind of just doing the kind of cookie cutter textbook version of the build. 3 racks, double engineering bay, adding the 3rd and 4th gas. This is all very, very just solid standard stuff. And he's going to break those rocks in the middle, interestingly, to obstruct the Zerg path. Quick lair coming in for REYNOR. REYNOR is not doing anything too crazy. He's just got a great work account, a well-timed 4th base going down at about 5 minutes. Yeah, pretty well-timed. He scouts, sees a few Marines, which convinces him that it's bio. Otherwise, why would you still be building Marines at this stage? And the Banshee is going to try and cloak and come in from that right. Oh, he's going to go Mutas again. We're going to see another Mutalisk game. Remember, REYNOR went mass Mutas versus Spirit on this map. He loves Mutalisks against... If he thinks the opponent is planning to turtle to late game, he finds Mutalisks are a good way of making sure they can't do that. So that's always a mindset. He did this on Gresvin as well. Why? That's the other map he hates playing late game on. So his goal is, if I play Mutas, you can't turtle to late game, because I can always attack in the back with the Mutalisks while rolling Ling Bane in the front. That is a fantastic way of doing it. And she's coming in right now. Getting a couple drones. Nice Spore Trick, though. He's so good at timing those Spore Tricks. Banshees are going to pull up there. Queen's replacing the creep. The Hellions are nearby. Drone pulls back. Doesn't want to give any freebies. 76 workers up against 61 for Cure. Cure has not started the 4th command center. Cure is just kind of going up to 4th and 5th barracks. Armory, he wants to start 2-2. You know, this is very straightforward play for Cure. Very solid, but I would like to see a quick 4th, a quick 2nd factory would be nice calls. Especially if you can get a reactor on a 2nd factory. To start building Widow Mines, that is essential for dealing with Mutalisks. If you don't have Widow Mines mixed in your army, they're very annoying. Hellbats, tanks, marines moving forward right now. Ooh, okay, gonna take out that changeling. Spreading the marines and the Hellbats a little bit. Tank does siege up. Oh, okay, gotta watch out. 4 Hellbats are getting a bit of damage done. The Queen's gonna start fighting that though. And Q is trying to bait him into taking a bad fight off creep against that siege tank and the Hellbats. His army's a bit far forward though. I don't really like the setup here for Q. I feel like if you're gonna go, go. Shove the marines in, click the hatchery. If you're not, spread further back. Right now, looks like Mutas fly across the map. They fly in right now, showing themselves for the first time. Luckily, he reacts very quickly with a marine rally. Pushes them back for now. Turrets up in all 3 bases. Very well done. Banshees are getting pushed back in the top right. On the left side, REYNOR's gonna lose his 4th. He gives it up calmly. And I would say what a weird decision, except remember the context of REYNOR and how many times he's lost important matches to being stubborn and taking bad fights. I've always said, at its core, Terran is a race that has high damage glass cannon units. They want to hit a specific moment when all their upgrades kick in, their army's really strong. And your job as an anti-Terran player, it doesn't matter what your race is to basically just not fight them. Go around, counterattack, do little run-bys. Avoid, give up a base, fall back. Oh, guess what? Fight 2 minutes later when your army's better than theirs is. You know, fight in a position where they're not as strong. That's what REYNOR does here. He's playing very patient, calm StarCraft. He's like, I got Mutas kind of annoying him. I've got some good map control. I've got other bases up. I've got that rich gas base in the middle. I'm okay with it. This drop does catch him off guard though. Marine tank on the right, very well positioned by Cure. The drop gets cleaned up in the main, but causing a disruption. I feel like Cure is definitely keeping REYNOR on his toes. REYNOR does not have this base fully mining at all yet. No workers there, in fact. The rich gas base is up in the middle, but that's not even fully saturated. His main's oversaturated. He hasn't put back on gas. REYNOR is really stressed right now. Finally, he retakes the gas and puts back on there. But you can tell he's really feeling that pressure. 7 more Mutalisks on the way. He's going to go to 19 Mutalisks. Not any SCVs building for Cure. And that's, once again, because his command center, I guess, is not that early. 4th command center is there. Oh, looks like some marines got cleaned up in the top right. REYNOR is constantly poking and prodding, looking for the correct engagement. The tanks are a bit exposed on the watchtower. There's a lot of Ling Bane available that could swarm in. Marines and Hellbats looking to try and force a good fight, but that is a lot of Zerg coming forwards. The Marines going on. The watchtower does end up being defended by the Marine tank, but he's going to clear the top section of this army quite nicely. Does clean up those Marines as well. Medevacs boosting back south. But right now, those tanks are very exposed. I don't know if the Marines can get behind those siege tanks. Looks like they can squeeze between that gap, but the other siege tank's going to go down as well. Great micro by REYNOR. Q just picks up and boosts home, but he's overrun at this point. REYNOR is playing that solid, greedy, powerful play, and calmly giving up that base was so big. 2-2 is now finished for Terran, but guess what? He's lost the frontal position. He's now trying to build Biomine Thor, which is a very good way of dealing with Mutalisks, but REYNOR has a giant economy. He's got good creep in the middle. He does need to respread on the sides, and he's going for an infestation pit as well as working towards catching up on those upgrades. That being said, 3-3 has started. Q has done a really good job with that, but he doesn't have extra commands, and as his 4th has just started mining, he's transferring extra workers here right now. He's going to need to keep doing that, pulling off the main and the natural as they mine out. Marines on the right side, good to watch out. Ling Bane coming in. Ooh, okay. Okay, he's got to be careful. Mutas flying in from the left. The Widowmines pop out. He's going to go after that turret. The Thor does get a decent volley off. The missile turret gets pretty much two-shot. Mutalisks have to fly away for now, but with no turrets there, they could come back later. Q is going to be very careful. Builds 3 more turrets to replace in that base. Hive and a Hydroden goes down. REYNOR is thinking about Lurkers. He says, well, Lurkers are good versus Widowmines. They do pretty well versus Thors. They outrange those as well. Makes perfect sense. If you've gone Mutalisks, you force non-siege tank units. And that means the Lurkers are going to be very good. That first game was like so clean from Cure. And it felt like he just overwhelmed and got the better of REYNOR. Since then, it feels like REYNOR's been getting cleaner and cleaner every game. Big Widowmine does land on his Ling Bane. Oh, another big Widowmine lands. REYNOR can't be too happy with those trades. It's a good evacuation for Cure from the right side of the map. But Cure, remember, is stuck on 4 base. REYNOR is on 5, 6, and a 7th base in the top right. A 3 base advantage is going to make a big difference. 2 Lurker Deads go down. REYNOR wants to make a big round of Lurkers and hit a big time. He wants to make both Lurker upgrades at the same moment. He wants to speed up the moment that that kicks in. Mass Baneling rolling in. Good pullback by REYNOR. You don't want to go off creep with those Banelings. Oh no! He lost his 3-3. The Mutalisks find the E-Bays. Oh, that is a disaster. And he jumps on the army on the left at the same time. Some of the units escape into the medevacs, but a bunch of them do get caught on the ground. And denying that 3-3 is massive. It was almost completed. He starts 2 more engineering bays. The Thor here trying to shoot. But look at these Mutalisks keeping him busy. And while he's distracted, the Banelings take out a planetary. This army has not even finished retreating yet. REYNOR running circles around Cure right now. Cure has decent supply. He has an army that beats REYNOR's army. But REYNOR's like, lol, it can't be everywhere at once. Mutas fly around the back. Banelings roll in the front. That was beautiful positioning by REYNOR. Widowmine's getting defused once again for him. He should be able to clean those up. But where are his overseers? He's only got 1 right now. And he's going to come in and allow him to clean up those Widowmines in a moment. New Bio Army with a Thor coming up this left side. That's a lot of Ling Bane rolling in towards that army. Banelings aren't the best versus Marauders and Thors. But REYNOR says, numbers matter, man. I will drown you in Banelings. It's not about beating you efficiently 1 for 1. It is about overwhelming. Right now, Cure is those goddamn evil wasps that hunt down all the bees and chop all their heads off, the Japanese murder hornets. But he's learnt that bee technique where they all basically just overheat them by getting on top, piling on top, and then just flapping their wings really fast until they melt the buggers. Mutalisks go after that, take out 6 SCVs on this base. Cure cannot keep up with the mobility of REYNOR as well. REYNOR just keeps making wave after wave of Banelings. He's got the double Lurker upgrades about to finish. Hydras are building. He's ready to make a pack of Lurkers in a moment as well. He might not need to, though. It looks like he's being forced to fight with Ling Bane. The turrets do very well. A lot of those Mutas going down. Command centers are floating out, trying to take these new bases. Cure still has a big army advantage with a lot of Marauders and Thors up front and a few Widowmine hits. He can definitely win this game. Marines pushing back those Mutalisks. REYNOR has to pull out with the Mutas. The Mutas, only 8 left. He's got only 2 Hydras on the map. He's making a singular Lurker. Q is actually fighting like a beast right now, dude. His economy is not good. He's still very fragile. Oh, that Ling backstab. REYNOR realizes he can't be everywhere at once. Ling's on the 3rd and the 4th. The SCVs get slaughtered. Mutas go back in the main. Cure is going to try and shove on creep, but that means his Marines are a little exposed. REYNOR says, let's go for it. No, he pulls back. REYNOR showing that next level patience. He says, dude, I've got you dead. I've still got bases in the other side of the map to mine. In the top right, that one, he's transferring to the very top right as well. This purple base is still mining for now. He's like, I can give up another hatchery or 2. It doesn't matter. I'm still ahead as long as I wait for the fight until you present your army in a bad position. It's that philosophy we talked about. Don't fight where and when the Terran wants to fight. Make him come deeper on creep. Make him expose himself. Let yourself get a few more Lurkers or Banelings up and then take the fight when you're ready. Lurker Ling Bane so deep on creep. The Marines do pick up into the medevacs. He saves a few of those units. One of the Thors goes down. Cure is in YOLO mode right now. He is F2 A moved and stimmed to the top right of the map like a psycho. He doesn't even have medevacs there. No healing for those lads. He doom drops the main with that army. This is Cure's last chance. The Mutalisks have cleared up the last mining. The main base gets cleaned. The Lurkers are going to shut that down. Cure was not watching because he was getting overrun on the right as well. Those units that he'd stimmed across the map with no medevacs get cleaned up. REYNOR keeps a few bases mining. He's still got a handful of these savage Mutalisks. 6 kills on one of them. He's got bloody 8 kills on another, 4 on another, and 4 on another. I mean, that there is just a deadly pack of Mutalisks. And REYNOR shows you will not get to the turtle late game, not when I play Mutalisks. That was a fantastic series. GG, well played. REYNOR wins $150,000. And he becomes the first Gamers8 StarCraft 2 champion. GG, well played.